But make sure you put flutes in the comments and chats, because it is time for everybody's favorite segment turned show. And it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
Or, the young superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So
as we transition from AEW over to WWE, let's talk about it. As Trick Willie Gang would say, NXT Stand and Deliver will not take place WrestleMania weekend. We talked about this on PWT Live. I'm interested to hear what these two chuckle fucks have to say.
Head to Vegas, everybody, if you're going. I know those tickets are going to drop for WrestleMania.
They're not doing Stand and Deliver there, though.
No, they're not.
They moved it to St. Louis. It's really interesting. I don't know what it said. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons it was moved. I mean, one of them is it was just so hard from a production standpoint to go and do SmackDown on Friday night, Stand and Deliver on Saturday morning. Plus, it's the fact that it's the morning because of Vegas, not the afternoon, and then come back with Saturday night WrestleMania. It really was telling to me, as far as their confidence in NXT, that they would book a 2,100 seat building for their biggest show of the year, as opposed to, 5,000, 7,000. I mean, there's so many.
Why, Dave? They're just going to fill it and put on a good show. Something you and Tone just don't understand. And then he's like, well, they book a 2,000 seater. Criticized Tone once for booking 10K seaters and putting barely 2,100 people in it. Man, come on. I don't know. I don't get why they'd go to a smaller building that they will for surely pack and probably gouge everyone for. They'll be able to charge a premium because the demand will be way more in this smaller, how many tickets there are. And it's essentially NXT's WrestleMania, so they can get away with doing that. Again, I study and learn the business.
Buildings in the St. Louis market that they could have run, to pick that one was really interesting. It just basically says that they do not have confidence.
Thing to understand.
That
they don't have confidence now. It's not about that, Dave. Holy man, you haven't been paying attention how WWE does anything lately, obviously.
At this stage of the game, can sell a lot of tickets. Because in the past, I think last year, like
April 4 is in a month, Dave, and they're going to charge the out of people likely for these tickets. And it's about production and stuff that you don't give a fuck about at all, because you make excuses for Tone when people point out he should think more about these sorts of things. And they do go to smaller buildings, Brian. They do go to smaller buildings, Phil Marks. I don't give a imaginary Dave in my head, okay? Because that happened way after the fact. And they should have been doing it, and they should be doing it more. And that's why I do not clown Tone. Again, I'm going to stand behind Tone on the fact that he's doing these studio shows for ROH, except for if those numbers are true, that they were trying to give out 250 and they could only give away 70 tickets. But for now, anyways.
They announced like some number like 15,000 or 12,000 or something, and I think it was a lot lower than that in reality. I mean, they announced a pretty fake number last year, but it was still like 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 people. And to go in this year, and not even be in that weekend, but go with the idea, I was really surprised that they would, they didn't go to
Dave. Not going that weekend is especially the time you go a smaller joint, because if they were in Vegas and they had the venue and then they made the tickets really cheap in hopes that a bunch of people who were there for Mania would sell out whatever that week for NXT, or smaller, or bigger venue compared to this 2,100 one, but like smaller compared to WrestleMania is what I mean. They would have did that too, but it's just like, you don't know their logistics, and neither do I. But ultimately, I think it's just what I said. Like, and you do want to go smaller, because what are you going to go? Oh, we're going to do 10,000 this night. Time to play that game. All that, dude. Just make sure that it's a show. Like TNA showed that you can do this. Pack a venue that fits the amount of people that you're going to be able to host, even if you got to beef it up a little bit. But WWE won't have to with a 2,100, whatever they'll just sell that out for a shoot. And so TNA's shown this, like, just put on a show that looks good and packed, and then it resonates way better with the audience, and especially for the viewing audience at home. And just the energy, man. People know this. Everyone in chat, everybody listening to this or watching this have gone to shows, and sometimes some of the best shows you go to aren't the biggest fucking. I've seen Taylor Swift live. The fucking stage was flying through the air and all this shit. It was cool, but it was such a big fucking building. I'm glad that I experienced it, but it just felt kind of disconnected. When you're in a more intimate setting and some band nobody's heard of is just ripping, sometimes that's the best experience. So again, with wrestling, it is all about having a tone and a vibe, and they'll be able to capture that. It'll be like 2,100 rabid fucking NXT fans. It's in St. Louis, so Randy Orton will show up or something like that. I don't know if any NXT guys are from there. They're slipping my mind, but yeah, they'll give the crowd, let's give them something to talk about.
The Family Arena or Chaffetz Arena, or there's, like I said, there's many other places there that would hold a lot more people, and they went to a real small place.
Yeah, all right.
Head to Vegas.
Saving a bunch of fucking money doing it that way too. Something that Tone would never get advice from Dave to do. Speaking of Randy Orton and Javon Evans, who shared a moment, I believe, in St. Louis. No, were they in St. Louis for that one? I don't remember, but here is Dave Meltzer, for some reason, finding a negative in Randy Orton giving Javon Evans the rub.
Randy's like mentoring, Javon and Trick Williams and probably others. And so he's trying to teach Javon to wrestle smart. Unfortunately,
now this is the complete opposite of your boy Phil's take here, man. This is the complete opposite. I'm sitting here like, listen, as he gets size, Javon's going to slow down and stop being a flippy machine. Because why? Why do that? And Dave is begging Ospreay now. He can slow down and do a slower style so he doesn't hurt his neck. Same with Kenny Omega. That's what he put over about the Gabe Kidd match and shit. So ultimately, Dave, why don't we learn how to do this properly so you don't have to do it as a backup plan when your fucking neck's broken or your spine doesn't work anymore? And so Dave is like, Javon's going to keep doing flips. I'd say slim down. I'm pretty sure he tells him to slim down. I'm not joking.
No, I mean, it's different here. Like Randy Orton is, 6'4.5", and he's probably 270 pounds now, but he was like 240 when he came in. Really good looking guy, good body, great execution, son of a wrestler. He had everything going.
Wait, when Randy first came in, he was not 240, bud. I don't know about that, man. That's like a gimmick weight,
for him. Put in Evolution.
I'm not saying he isn't now. Like Randy's a big dude, and if he was 260, I wouldn't be shocked. But like 240 back then, skinny Randy. I know he's big, but he was pretty slim down, man.
And real early on in his career,
he was real cut.
World champion, youngest world champion ever. So he had cred. So
now he's just beefy. He had cred. I'm cringing. I'm deuce chilling.
Youngest world champion ever. So he had cred. So he could get by. Randy could get by on
cringe,
being a very safe wrestler. And most guys in this day and age, you don't want to be crazy, but the very safe thing, it's like, you have to have like a really good body and have the right look and the right push all together to be able to do what Randy does and get over. So, and I'm not saying like, I'm what I suspect is going to happen is Javon will tone down, and it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but if he forgets who he is, it could be not the best thing in the world for him either. But I've noticed ever since, like I heard that, that Javon has started doing, he still does spectacular stuff and he's awesome and everything, but he's done less of it, which isn't
not even really, Dave. Because he didn't do the most insane, craziest, insane shit ever, even though he did frog splash off the fucking pod. Because he didn't do all these flippies and do all the shit that Dave thought, and everyone thought, I'm not going to lie, I thought it too, that Dave thought he was going to do in the chamber. Now it's like, he does less of the flippy stuff that I like. No, Dave. He does all the flippies still. He did a bunch in the chamber too. It was just in the chamber. You guys expected him, and I did too, to like scale it and then like moonsault off the chain link or something into the ring on everyone. Like one spot that's super crazy. Instead, he paid homage to RVD, who, let's face it, Javon bit the 5-star frog splash. That's totally fine. It's what you do. All right. It's the sincerest form of flattery, is fucking imitating RVD's move and putting your own little stank on it. And it was an homage to Triple H and Rob Van Dam when Javon did the frog splash off of the fucking pod. Now, I even said, hey, that could have been, they could have done something that would have been more like, oh, memorable and shit with Javon, for sure. Because, like, it's not like everyone's sitting here, oh, that was a crazy frog splash moment. But because he didn't do all of that in this one chamber match, what about all of his TV matches, Dave? Are you not watching those? He's going off. Some of these wrestlers on TV in WWE, like Ray Phoenix. Dude, Ray Phoenix and Trick Williams had a match on SmackDown where I'm like, whoa. If this was in AEW, all the sickos cage match, they'd have fucking loved it. They'd have loved it. They did every move you could think of to each other. And Trick was doing everything with Phoenix. Let Phoenix get all of his shit in. And it went super long. It wasn't even, it was a few weeks ago. You guys know what match I'm talking about. It was like, holy shit, they're just going off. Look at what Carmelo Hayes does in his US title match every week. He just snaps. He just has a fucking banger with everybody. So if you're just looking at like, okay, I'm turning on my wrestling show, this is the banger match of the fucking card. Carmelo's going off every week. Javon does the same thing, man. He snaps every week. He's doing every fucking move there is, flying all over the place. So, no, he hasn't really stopped. He just didn't do a lot in the chamber. Dave's trying to diminish him a bit because he was reminded after saying that Tony Khan would give him $10 billion that Javon Evans once called Ricochet and Tony Khan crackheads. And that's pretty funny if you ask me. Guys,
Tony Khan.
Let's finish this clip.
It's necessarily bad because if you do, the thing, if you do 2 or 3, they'll remember it. If you do 12, it's all a blur.
What? Oh, what was that, Dave? I'm sorry. Can you just say that one more time?
Isn't necessarily bad because if you do, the thing, if you do 2 or 3, they'll remember it. If you do 12, it's all a blur.
So if you do 2 or 3 flippies, they'll remember it. If you do like 12, it's all a blur. And Dave doesn't get why people don't watch AEW like they used to.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
And people laugh at his quote unquote objective 5-star ratings, and Dave can't figure it out. He's tart angry on Twitter every day, like, oh, why is everyone coming after me? Buddy, you don't get it, and you're saying it. You're saying it right now. It's all just a blur. This is why Mile High Madness isn't 5 stars, because it's just a blur. Like, we've seen a million of these matches. It was basically anarchy in the arena, but just in Denver, Colorado, where we're at altitude. So it was just the same match, actually. But I'm trying to like make it sound like it's something it isn't, so that it sounds like it's something cool and unique and fresh, when really it's just 5 guys brawling on each team, doing fucking flips and carnage spots. And this happens every week in AEW. I feel like a few weeks ago or a month ago, the women, maybe it was 2 months ago. Again, it's all a blur, Dave. But I think the women had like a 4-on-4, 5-on-5 carnage, and that was called a Colorado Carnage match, right? Like, what was it called then? It's just a blur, Dave. All these Young Bucks matches, they're kind of a blur. It's just funny that he says it, but then when people point that out, he's like, no. And when people go, this is why the ratings aren't as high, or people don't want to watch this as much, or they'll always be a challenger brand, or TNA's challenging them as far as like, you guys want to make it about the art, TNA's better. If you guys are artsy fartsy and you want to make it just about that, and you don't want to be objective about like, hey, how do we quantify success and who's actually, what the objective purpose is of fucking being a pro wrestling promotion and things like that. Like, if you don't want to quantify that with numbers and like use data and look at like measurable facts, then okay, we're just talking about the art and subjectivity and shit. Okay, TNA's better. TNA's already number 2 in that department. Boom, debate me on that. No, you can't really debate that. So Dave is explaining right here what's wrong with AEW for the average casual, which people will go, well, fuck a casual. Well, guess what? MJF is begging for casuals. Excalibur did an interview begging for casuals. People think I'm doing this tribalist thing. Oh, when I'm making fun of MJF when he's saying ticket sales are up. pardon me, yet they're doing free tickets for people at schools in certain areas and whatnot. And then every subsequent ticket you buy, if you have your student ID, is only $10. So buy 5, give us $50. We gave you a free one. You and 5 of your friends come to the show for $50. Like, that's a sweet deal. But that means convincing casuals. Meanwhile, this fan base says, fuck a casual, and yells horse cock. Okay? And they chant fucking... And then all of a sudden you have the Rizzler out there with Orange Cassidy, and then all of a sudden Moxley's getting a taser shoved up his ass or whatever. It's crazy. It's not for casuals, I thought. I thought it's for the sickos. I thought fuck a casual. So now we're making plays at casuals, and even Dave's like, oh, it's all a blur, I guess. Fuck you guys, man. It's so crazy. It's like, if you just listened 4 years ago, Dave, this AEW would be like thriving. It would be actually competing with WWE.
At the same time, I don't think his matches have been better.
And yeah, so I guess he's using what he should be criticizing AEW with. He should be saying, he shouldn't even be saying that towards Javon Evans. And also he was trying to tempt Javon Evans by like, oh, you'll get paid 10 times more money.
Randy's like,
it's like, who are you working for, bud? They talk about the Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill beef. I think they're working. Doesn't matter. Work me, daddy. I want to be fucking worked. That was kind of gay. Sorry, guys. Wait, no. No, it's cool. I'm comfortable with my shit, dog. What's up? No, but listen, whether it's a work or shoot, there's now heat on this WrestleMania match. That's what the whole biz is about. Nobody knows how to work the reality into shoot, work, shoot, brothers more than WWE, as we've seen by everybody spurging out and melting down over Unreal and what's a work and what's a shoot. They're effectively blurring the lines again, and everyone's triggered. Unreal fucking sucks because they're convincing people that shit's a work that isn't a work, and it's a work when it's a work. Oh, so they're like figuring out a way to kind of blur the lines again, and you're all crying like bitches about it. What the fuck? Go watch MMA. You guys want it to be real? Oh, they said on TV Rey Mysterio's the biggest luchador of all time. Yeah, they're trying to get Rey Mysterio. It's a fucking work show. It's a scripted television program. Like, what do you... Jesus Christ. Anyways.
So they're trying to do some angle with Jade and Rhea.
Oh, the Twitter angle.
They're doing an angle on Twitter to make you think that they actually hate each other.
There is a prevailing viewpoint there among people and talent.
Oh, man, there's a prevailing, like, he talked to everyone. He surveyed everyone. The survey's just not out yet, Brian.
That is, like, identical to some of the things that were tweeted. So there is, we're big on a square. It's a really interesting thing because it is a work, because, again, like, if it was real, they're not doing it. You know what I mean? It's like Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. They're not they're not going to bury someone on their own team in public because they know you can't do this. It's not allowed.
It's not allowed. Yeah. So they're all professionals and they're all working on one boat, all sailing the 7 seas together, trying to get to their destination together, like a well-oiled machine. And in Dave's mind, it's like, just the way he's negative about it. Instead of being like, well, there's heat on the match, Bryce, so who gives a fuck? Shut up. No, not that he has to do that. I don't know. He's just got to look at Randy Orton mentoring Javon Evans as a negative. He's got to look at these two working a shoot as a negative, but it's kind of real, but I don't really know, but it is a work. Otherwise, they wouldn't be allowed to do it. But I think it is real because people don't like Jade because I don't like Jade. That's what he's getting at, and it's just like, fuck you.
But they are using the thoughts of many people.
So they are allowed to do it because they're doing it. So they are allowed to use real life beef thoughts back and forth. So they're working a shoot, and you don't want to put over the way they're blurring the lines and making a shoot, working a shoot, dude.
While they're doing this angle, it's really kind of, that's what Lawler and Dundee used to do. There, I brought them up twice on the same show, where it's all work, but everything that they said about each other was real.
So then it's not all a work.
So
they just agreed to do business. And then in AEW, it's really not a work because that's what you guys want. You just want to watch people really fight, but you're just too pussy to say that.
Annoyed them about the other one. So it's Yeah, they're trying to make it out like it's a shoot, and they're going to really fight at this show, and it's weird because when you do that on Twitter, it just, I don't know, it's like it's just an attempt. It's an attempt to get some heat for the match. That's all. They want to be they've got 6 weeks to build up a big match. They want to be featured. There's a lot of people in hotter feuds than this one, but this is a big deal because it is a championship match and it's a Rhea Ripley match, so it's got to be big. So, that's the strategy.
Yeah, so they have go figure. They have a booking strategy headed into WrestleMania, and they're going to work a shoot and blur the lines in order to. And Dave's just like disappointed in it that they're trying to keep kayfabe alive. Damn it. It's still real to me, damn it. So here's his and Brian's thoughts on Punk versus Roman Reigns now. I know Punk said some shit. Dave better watch his tongue when it comes to the Anoa'i Fatu family because he's definitely pissed them off a few times. When it comes to Brian and Punk, though, they've had a beef since like 2008, 2009, one-sided. Brian hates Punk because of Maria Kanellis, which again, I don't have a backstory on. Like I should just ask Meltzer said what. I'm sure he could explain it. I don't know why I haven't ever, but basically like CM Punk dated Maria Kanellis or some shit back in the day. She's a married woman now. I'm not trying to talk ill of her, bring up her old shit, whatever. But apparently Bryan Alvarez was like in love with her, and then that like offended him, or that's at least how people make it seem online. I don't fucking know, right? So it's over Maria Kanellis for some reason. That's like Bryan's dream girl, and then Punk dated her. And I think he dated like Lita and shit too, didn't he? Dated everybody, Chick Magnet Punk. That ever since then, people are like, Bryan has had a vendetta against Punk since then type thing. So now he talks about how Punk holds grudges. Let's take a look / a listen to Punk holding grudges and not Bry.
Roman's promo was all of this work, shoot, backstage, blah, blah. And then Punk's promo was about nothing but the actual storyline involved in the match. But then Punk had to end by talking about the guy's dead father. And Punk says...
So is his dead father a work buddy or is that a shoot? So they both did a work shoot and you just explained how. So Roman did a work shoot work. And then Punk came back with a shoot work shoot. Is that what you're saying, Bri? So they went out there and they're working shoot works, brother. Brother, Jack, dude. Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Right? So they work themselves into shoot works, both of them, and that's how they're they're blurring the lines a little bit. And you just explained that, but you tried to explain it as though they did two completely different things. Got it.
Tweet didn't hurt my feelings. Quote, I don't care what people tweet about me. I don't get mad and hold grudges about things people say about me on podcasts.
Can I tell you something?
I was already friends again?
No, I'm not friends with him, but no.
I'm not friends. Just quickly, no, I'm not friends with Phil. I would never be friends with Phil Brooks. Fuck that.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
He doesn't like. He made my boyfriend. I mean, my son. I mean, Tony.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Fear for his life, Brian.
About me.
Oh, I don't know about you. When he said that,
he's talking about me. No, he's talking about there's. Again, this is the center of the universe. Shit. You guys aren't the center of the fucking universe, okay? JD from NY gets more fucking views on his shit than you guys, okay? They could be taught. It was JD critical of Punk. I don't know, but like, there's a billion pro wrestling pods. So I'm sure there's lots that shit on Punk. Tons of sicko pods, tons of fucking people who've shitted on him, tons of people who don't like the direction of WWE right now. Maybe it's you, Brian, but you're the one who holds the fucking grudge. He held on to it for so long.
Fine. I swear to God.
Now he's acting baffled
I've
by
laughed
it.
More watching a wrestling show in years.
And then here's the thing too. So Dave is like, I laughed so hard. So imagine it's like, I'm watching the show Pretty Woman, the movie. Pretty Woman walking down the street. And I'm like, dude, Julia Roberts in real life is a vegan. Oh, she ate meat in that movie. Oh, I laughed so hard because it was like, oh, she fucking ate meat in this movie when she's really a vegan. That's what he's saying. Like, bro, it's a fake TV show. So even if Punk in real life does hold grudges, what does this shit matter? It just shows that you guys are holding grudges against Punk by even saying some stupid shit like this.
When he said that line, I swear
They always get worked up over kayfabe too. Oh, well, the triple threat happened because Dominic, whatever. Oh, could you believe that? Everyone knows it's because this guy got hurt. Yeah, but it's a work TV show, so they're lying. It's fake, Dave. I don't. It's so crazy.
God, I don't think I've laughed more watching a wrestling show in years with the line about how he doesn't hold grudges. It's like this entire. I mean, that's the funniest line I've ever heard.
And then the fake laughing. I mean, it was just the silliest thing I've ever seen. Look at this.
This entire. I mean, that's the funniest line I've ever.
Oh my God, it was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Heard. And I mean, it just was so funny because it's like, I don't know, I mean, a lot of people hold grudges, but I don't know if anyone holds grudges more than him.
Then who, Punk? Like, well, okay, so he had a grudge against WWE and then he squashed it. Does he still have a grudge with Tone and the Bucks and shit? Because Dave, CM Punk, I was going to call him Phil Brooks, CM Punk tried to have a sit down with the Elite and they're the ones who said no. So who was holding the grudge then? Just because he doesn't like you? Nobody likes you guys.
But even if they don't, he holds grudges. The guy holds grudges like nobody's business. My God. If he didn't hold a freaking grudge, the whole entire history of wrestling would be different.
The whole entire history, Lou Thesz's run would have been different if CM Punk didn't hold grudges, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that. Stone Cold would have never had his career and retired when he did if CM Punk didn't hold grudges, because the entire history would be different if he didn't hold grudges. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Meltzer Inferno.
So another take that some people might agree with when it comes to Dave and Bry, the commercials on Raw. And I'm going to be honest, dude, the commercials on Netflix don't bother me too much. When we're watching Raw, you'll get like a 3-minute ad of like Netflix movies that are coming. And typically it's just ads for WWE shit and then like Netflix shit. So I don't care too much, but I don't know if they should be there because we're fucking already paying. Or if there's like, hey, here's a tier. The first tier, there's ads, but then these other ones, there's no ads or whatever. And then you pay for that like I do, but then I still get ads during the live events. So I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, I heard Wrestling with Freddie's most recent show, Freddie Prinze Jr., maybe it was the one before, whatever. And he was complaining about it. And now Dave Meltzer and Bry are complaining about it too.
They've done something over the last 2 weeks where they're making it very difficult to skip commercials.
As long as I can get the fast forward thing going before the commercial starts, I'm okay. There was one point where I left the room, to go and get a banana, and all of a sudden they're going.
You wait to get a banana? You what? Did you then squish it in your own face, or did you? Was this the ending to the plot of revenge to your ex-girlfriend from back in the day? For those of you who don't know, Dave tells this crazy story back in the day where his girlfriend, he was trying to explain like, the Tonight Show, the ratings of Lucha Libre, whatever. He was like trying to explain some like talk show shit that he knows nothing about to his ex-girlfriend way back in the day. And so she
the
just
young
looked at him.
Superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So
he's rambling to his ex, and then she just looked at him, and this is from Dave's own words, and she squished a banana in his face and was like, shut up. And then he said for like weeks he was plotting his revenge. When I'm going to put this banana in her face and like, it's fucking weird, dude. I've covered it, I think, a few times, but like, Jesus, I went to the kitchen to get a banana. All right. Hopefully you didn't assault anyone with it this time. Lock them up. No.
To go and get a banana, and all of a sudden they're going to a commercial. I go, no, and I'm running back in there trying to hit that fast forward because I don't want to sit for the 3 minutes. I didn't make it.
7 straight commercials.
7 straight. Yeah, but it's on a 3-minute timer. And I believe it's 6. So I think you might be lying, Brian, again, because I think they're just 30 seconds each, perfectly timed out. You get the Jay-Z one. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hove, but it's like a Heinz commercial for like their mayo, their like ketchup mayo mix or the Chipotle ketchup or whatever.
And they had so many commercials on this show.
You know what's funny?
They're all in the middle of matches.
It's so funny is about, I'm thinking about a month or two ago. It was actually reported first.
Oh, where they claimed there were going to be less commercials?
No, they were going to be not having during the matches. They weren't going.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
a lie.
And so I asked. I go, is this true? And they go, yeah, it's true.
And they go, no, nope. Your designated stooge said that to you.
And that was the idea. But it's like it didn't.
It's worse than ever.
Man, when I watch soccer or when I watch the NFL or I watch the NBA, they're not cutting away in the middle of the action. This is so disrespectful. I think that there's
AEW does the same shit, but I do get it though. Here's where I'm not trying to do a what about. I always do the what aboutism because Dave does it with WWE all the fucking time. Even when he was melting down about the Lucha Libre stuff, he was fucking doing a what about WWE and shit. But when it comes to this, it's like, buddy, he might have a point because it's on streaming. So I don't know if you want to compare it to like soccer or football that you're not watching on streaming, but just streaming, Dave. When you're streaming a movie, ads don't pop up unless you're watching like fucking Tubi, which it's not even that big of a deal. Like it doesn't trigger me. And they're like, it's worse than ever. But actually on Netflix, they fade to black and then they come back to the action and then they fade to black again and then come back to the action. So it's not like you're missing anything. Maybe they're just paying for the lowest tier of Netflix, which again, I don't blame people. They shouldn't be getting ads for that either, but it is what it is, man. I don't know.
This better. They know there's ways to do this better, but for Netflix, I just think for Netflix,
the formatting of like all wrestling shows these days sucks pretty bad. I think TNA might have especially when they pre-tape their shows, not the live ones. When they pre-tape, their formatting was down. They got that down pat. Live is a little different. I think just because the show's so long, you have to like the match. You have to go, okay, we have to keep the people who care about seeing every single match and every single segment are who we need to really make sure don't turn this shit off during the commercial or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Maybe that's not it, but
it's like you can just.
And also, it's all about selling ads. Sorry, not to pause it again, but it's just all this whole fucking streaming game. This whole thing is like, we're just selling ads. That's why there's ads everywhere, and they're running the ads. It's all a play to just market shit to every age, 7 and up, dude.
Do the commercials after the match. It's like I don't see why it has to be like if you're doing an 8-minute match and you get to the 8-minute mark, you have to do the 7. Like you do the one commercial break from 2 to 5, then you get to 8, and you got to do another commercial break. There's got to be a way around this.
On the iPad, I used to watch an hour after the show ended on the iPad, and the commercials were just gone. The show was like an hour and 50 minutes.
I had the same thing.
No, you didn't have to skip nothing. It was just like when the commercial.
Yeah, same with me. So it was like, the replay, no ads. And sometimes they would even cut out the little section of like commercial break. We'll be right back, because on SmackDown that happens. And the music will play like do, do, do. Do. You guys know that music that plays before the AAA events on YouTube, on Netflix? That's what they use for like SmackDown during the commercials. And you still get to watch a bunch of the during commercials that like on USA, you guys wouldn't see that. A bunch of them are also just music for 3 minutes with wrestlers posing, which is way worse than the ads. I'd rather take the 3 minutes of ads of like, hey, here's a movie coming out soon, than fucking just like Jordan Grace and then fucking yes, boy, like those guys doing their pose in slow motion, then Mitchin doing her pose in slow motion, then R-Truth dancing in slow motion, and it's just this music, boo, 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 boo. It fucking gets annoying real quick. But that used to not be there, but now they have like unskippable ads, so Netflix is figuring it out. You know what I mean?
Commercial break happened. It just went right to the next segment. And about 3 weeks ago, it stopped.
Well,
And now it's an unskippable commercial. It doesn't matter if you start before. It doesn't matter if you start. You cannot get through.
A 15-minute AEW match, you're going to get one commercial break.
Oh, come on. Don't see. Now he's going to do the whataboutism. Bro, they cut away all the time. They do the picture-in-picture, which I don't think that works. I don't think that helps them any. It's better than just commercials, I guess, if you're like a diehard. But
15-minute WWE match, you're going to get two.
Yeah, and that might be true, though. No. Maybe like WWE, their problem too. One of the problems I think sometimes is that, and a lot of people go, it's just backstage shit. But a lot of times though, you'll get a SmackDown where it's like some fucking 20-minute matches. You get like 3 fucking 15 to 20-minute matches, and you're like, shit, that was a lot of wrestling for like just the one match though. So AEW, their approach is like, okay, let's put 10 matches on here that all go long, and we'll do an overrun. Whereas like, I think WWE fans and more casuals are more into like, here's some backstage shit, here's some vignette shit, here's a long. Well, I don't even know about the longer matches. I think the quicker matches work better a little bit for that. And then it's like at the PLE, I'm going to watch a shitload of wrestling and magnificent entrances and superstar. There'll be celebrities and stuff. Like people kind of understand how WWE does stuff. But Dave, I'm not going to give him shit for this one. There are too many. Everything's fucking got ads, every fucking thing. And it's just a part of how like media works these days. You know what I'm saying? Dave Meltzer talks about how there's been discussion of turning Trick Williams babyface, which like, anyone could just say this based on how over he is. I think this is the perfect time to let it happen naturally because they're still booing his heel antics in the matches, but they love his fucking entrance. So there's going to come the right time. You don't just flip him because, and I'm sure there are discussions. I'm sure there's discussions on every single thing for every character. Hey, should we flip this guy? What about this guy? Oh, this heel's hurt. We need another heel over here. Who do we flip? Who do we bring up? Who do we bring in? So of course they're talking about shit like this, but I wouldn't expect him to go full babyface anytime fucking soon. That's for sure. Let's take a listen to this.
So there's also discussion of turning Trick babyface.
Yeah, that's obvious if you watch the TV. You know, I mean, people love him. And I mean, that going to Memphis was really, you know, that turned it, and it was kind of like that was an easy one because that chant is like a sports chant in Memphis going back.
Everybody fucking says this, guys. We know, but it applies to Trick. Why didn't they go whoop that Trick every time they're in Memphis? Why haven't they chanted whoop that Trick to everybody? It's also from Hustle and Flow. Hey, guess what? It is also from a movie called Hustle and Flow.
Stupid idiot.
That fucking rules. So whoop that Trick.
You know, long before there was ever a Trick Williams, right? You know, I mean, going back decades, he is very popular. And, you know, you are going to be fighting the fans to try to make him a heel at this point. I mean, he's a natural babyface anyway. And he should be. I mean, you know, he's got his weaknesses in the ring, but he's at least getting better. And, you know, he's certainly passable. You know, and with the right person, you know, can have a good match. But you know, so
he's only passable.
Yeah, he's got all that charisma. I mean,
he's a passable wrestler, and he's got all that charisma. See, Dave doesn't care about any of that shit. Just moves.
I think he's going to be one of the biggest stars in the company in a very short period of time.
100%. Okay, base Dave again at the end, but again, Meltzer said, "What's like if you'd like to see the thousands of other mistakes you've made, you need to unblock me, Dave." Because Dave's like, you found one mistake, corrected immediately, and the other was something that went through a number of changes with injuries and card changes. So it has to do with Backlash and then Roman Reigns, you know, one mistake corrected. Here's Roman Reigns will be the odd man out. And then Dave's like, you found one mistake corrected immediately, and the other was something that went through a number of changes with injuries and card changes. No, but Dave, so here's the problem with that, right? So we're going to debunk Dave right here when it comes to WWE. Because he's a stupid idiot. I'm about to cook him. Are you guys ready? So Dave, when he saw the whiteboards in Unreal, he's like, oh, and that show was filmed months ago. And boy, when I tell you what the plans are for Mania. But Dave, the plans that you were alluding to with the whiteboard was you saying that Roman's going to be the odd man out of WrestleMania and all of these things. So these recent injuries and shit made you wrong, but you were trying to say that whatever the fuck they had planned before. So now he's like using an excuse It changed all this stuff just wherever it fits. Earlier we covered, like, okay, is it the key demo or is it the fucking overall viewership? It's just Dave will flip-flop whenever it's convenient for him. So you got to watch that with Dave. But yeah, what about this too? It was a mistake. No, dude, you just didn't do your diligence, which is a mistake kind of, but like not really when you're such a condescending motherfucker, dude. And you sit there and say, I do this. I know everything about the business. He literally said that. I've studied every aspect of this business. Every aspect? So you've been in the ring? You've wrestled at the highest levels, dude? Every aspect? What are you talking about? Will Ospreay can't even say he's studied at the highest levels of the business or at every aspect because he's never done WWE. And that's a whole different thing, a whole different animal, according to you guys. But it's the biggest part of it's the biggest aspect of the pro wrestling business. And he's never even experienced that. So even a guy like Kenny Omega can't say he's studied in every single aspect. Dave will claim that and shit. So it's like, you don't get to just be like, it was a mistake. I thought you were Uwatu, dude. So he says, not a bad percentage out of 50,000 words a week. Also, you complained about, no, but Dave, I break down all the 50,000 words and it's a 3-hour long plus show every week because you're full of shit. Eyes of Brown, you're so full of shit. I need that for the soundboard. Guys, hit like. There's over 300 watching across YouTube and X. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. It's a long one again. He says, I not only wrote about earlier that day, but have been covering for 2 months, almost every week. So yes, you are a fraud. No, Dave, you just defended yourself. So you got defensive and then said you are a fraud, but really he's not doing anything fraudulent. You're just defending fraudulent accusations levied towards yourself. Guilty. So then Julian Weeks just goes, one mistake, hilarious. Here's an AEW one. Here's you lying about Brody King and shit. So it's just a full-on felt of Dave. You can't make this shit up. You're living in a fucking fool's paradise, as Joey Diaz would say. So again, Meltzer said, here's all of your fucking mistakes. And again, he said the same thing. One mistake in 2024. Don't forget the one where you thought The Rock and Triple H backstage promo from a decade ago meant they were having a match in 2024. Dave goes, you got the story wrong. I said they weren't having a match together, but yeah, made a mistake. No, Dave, you said that they were working. He didn't say that. So that guy fucked up because he didn't say a match, but he alluded to that. Dave, you did. We all share the commonality of language. You insinuated that they were working some sort of angle there between them. 50,000 words a week. You got one in 2024, also corrected immediately. Dave, there's an infinite supply of just opinions, takes, lies, fucking bad shit, news that you think you're breaking, that you flip-flop on, or you don't turns out not to be true, or shit that you fantasy mark book like the pay-per-view numbers and then pretend are real. Those all count. Dave. The embellishments. What about you didn't even mention in your 50,000 words a week, Brian, that Okada, you didn't even mention that Okada stabbed a guy with a screwdriver. I think you just left that out entirely when he hit Takeshita with the screwdriver. Meanwhile, it was right in front of the ref's face. You rated it 4.5 stars and didn't mention any of that. So you just omitted all of that. That's a fib, buddy, to protect your guys and the best guy, Tony Khan. That's a fail. That's another L that not everyone's you got to tune into this show to catch all this shit. So it's not one in 2024.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
More about WWE. Well, there's a lot of lies with AEW. He probably actually lies more pound for pound. He gives them more 5 stars and he fucking probably lies about them more too overall. But anyways, Randy Orton wins the Men Elimination Chamber match. Are we headed towards a multi-person match at Mania? And then I quote tweet this and go, so Dave really isn't going to address how he said Roman Reigns was the odd man out of WrestleMania and how the WWE title match was going to be a triple threat between Rhodes, Fatu, and Drew? Well, injuries, Brian. So injuries made it so that, what did he say? Did he say Braun Breaker was going to fight Punk? Because maybe that's his way to weasel out. But what about this triple threat? Way off base on that one. And again, who cares if Dave just came and said, hey, I'm a wrestling fan making predictions and I'm just talking shit I don't really know, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying? We all do that. That's the whole point of it's fun. It's like comic books. We predict what's going to happen in the MCU coming up. We say, if this guy fought that guy, that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun of pro wrestling. You got to just book and you got a fantasy mark book. And if it isn't, who gives a shit? You should want your fantasy mark booking to be less right than right. And you guys know that. How many times do I tell you guys, don't be afraid to be worked. If I can gotta enjoy it, you got to put it over when it works you, because that, and not being worked all the time. Again, the gobbledygooker, Danhausen, it doesn't always pay off as well, but it's like, all right, maybe I didn't expect that. At least they're keeping us honest and on our toes. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to keep the fucking toothpaste in the tube in pro wrestling these days. So I applaud efforts to blur the lines. Again, a through line throughout this episode, but he was way off base on that, and he just spoke as if it was fucking fact the whole time, and then look at what happens. He was completely off on both of these fucking takes. So if you're news, right? PWT's not news. DMDMW's not news. If you're fucking news, dude, you gotta like at least come correct a little bit. You can't just see backlash in Tokyo tweets and then tweet that that's a fucking thing and then go, oops, my bad. You didn't even call one person. He just said that he called WWE and they told me all this stuff about what's going on with Rhea Ripley and Jade. Okay, so is that really a mistake? You couldn't have just called the guy you knew and fucking asked if Backlash was in Tokyo before people had to point out it was an AI graphic and shit? Like, that's what makes him a lousy-ass journalist.
The men's chamber, Randy Orton won. Yeah. But Cody Rhodes is getting a championship match on Friday. So I'm sure there will be a big schmoz. And we're going to end up with a multi-person match at WrestleMania.
I'm thinking a 3-way, but maybe even a 4. Maybe a 4. You know,
it could be 4. It could be 5. Could add Jacob Fatu.
Well, I think Jacob. I think if they're going to add
Sammy,
a 4th, you could add that. I was kind of told no, but things always change too.
Oh man, shit.
I could see. I think that any more than 4, now we're starting to water it down. I think 3 or 4.
Water what down? What does he mean water down? Does he mean whittle down? Whittle it down? Let's hear this again.
Well, no, but things always change too. I could see. I think that any more than 4, now we're starting to water it down.
Okay.
I think 3 or 4 is the right number. I mean, Cody's going to be in. Randy Orton's going to be in. I can't imagine Drew McIntyre not being in and then going with Cody and Randy. He's just worked too hard to not be in. So and been too much of a key to everything. So that's 3.
And if Dave sits there and goes, well, I was actually told by my WWE assigned appointed fucking stooge, and then Unreal confirmed the whiteboard writings again. Yeah, boy, Phil called it. They write shit on a whiteboard. When they erase it and update it with new shit, or take a different colored marker and do it in a different color, and then that's the old color, because, there's a different color likely for what's locked in. I don't know. It looked that way. A lot of colors on that whiteboard there, right, Dave? He told us to take a look at them. So we did. People looked at pictures and shit. Online, they were going around. Here was their plans and shit. So, yeah, you're getting told the old whiteboard shit. Then they erase it, plan new shit, and then you're reporting it, and you look like a dumbass. And then now you're like, oh, I guess, instead of being like, I was completely wrong on this shit, my reporting was off. Gee, I shouldn't have argued with people about that when I really didn't know, right?
Jacob Fatu would make 4, but I don't see it.
It's like if I gave you guys an allegedly, and then you guys were like, well, that doesn't make sense because this and this. And it's like, okay.
Allegedly.
Thanks for pointing that part out. That's what I would say. It's like, who gives a fuck? It's not. I don't think any of this shit's ever set in stone. It's the fucking pro wrestling business. And of course, some of it, there is a long-term plan. Like, obviously, you're like, next year, we want Punk to be our world champion, main eventing one of the nights of Mania. Now, how we're going to get there, that can all change on the fly. But we know, like, we want Punk against someone. We have a few different plans. I'm sure if you asked a year ago, in their mind, there was a bit of like, maybe Roman Punk. They think about it too. Roman and Punk have been involved with each other storyline-wise and subtly beefing with each other, like in the periphery, even when they're not fucking immediately tagging up or beefing with each other. They have been for like a year or so now. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me if this was just the plan a year ago.
To put anybody else in. I mean, I know you always can. If it's going to be first pin and you just put Sammy in to take the pin, you could do that too, I suppose.
Oh man. I mean, Sammy could just go in and take a pin. Meanwhile, you're the same guys. Bryan Alvarez and Dave are always crying about how Sammy didn't get the world title from Roman in fucking Montreal. And now it's you can just send him in to get the fucking pin because fuck that guy. Like, come on, man. Dave Meltzer has beef with Mark Nash. And again, didn't Dave get all emotional damage when, like, what did Jim Cornette? Didn't Jim Cornette say some crazy shit about Justin Roberts and everyone melted down on him? So here's Dave trashing Mark Nash here.
Javon Evans, who ring announcer Mark Nash called Javon Williams.
You know what? I have never that I can think of disliked a ring announcer. You know, I mean, they're just there. Some of them are really good. I was once mad at Lillian Garcia just because I thought that, you know,
Imagine being mad at Lillian Garcia.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
How is that even possible?
The idea of replacing Howard Finkel, who was one of the 2 or 3 best ring announcers I've ever seen, with someone because she's a pretty woman, was like, I just thought, you know, it's the ultimate in bullshit to me. Like,
It's the ultimate in bullshit. Didn't Fink go to SmackDown, and then Lillian Garcia was on Raw, and then I think they went to Kimmel not long after, right? Or when they split into 2 brands, was Fink a part of SmackDown at all? I might be off on that. He might have done both shows as well. But when they split brands, like hard split after the invasion and all that, Chad will let me know. I forget who was the first SmackDown. It wasn't Kimmel, no? He came after. And then I know Garcia was on Raw, which she ruled, and she became one of the best, so he got over that. Dave, you're just being a whiny little bitch.
The best ring announcer. I mean, the best ring announcer in WWE history, and you're going to take him out because he's not pretty enough. It's like his job is to, you know, ring announce, not to be like whatever. But they did it, and that's fine and all that. This Mark Nash, I don't know what it is about him, but I genuinely just see him, and I just don't like him. I don't know.
Dave just doesn't like this dude. He doesn't like his face, doesn't like his haircut. And meanwhile, Dave, did he melt down on you for saying this? Or is this just another hilarious twist of fate and irony where Dave is now being hypercritical and just for no reason being like, I don't like this guy, even though he jumped to Justin Roberts' defense when Jim Cornette did the same thing? Dave never fails to fuck around
What
like
it
this.
is. I mean, and he, you know, this is just a mistake, and everyone makes mistakes. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm just saying there's something about this guy where it's like I know that like Nick Khan
Finkel was on SmackDown after the hard split. Thank you.
saw him at, you know, doing some stuff in Vegas and loved him, but it's just like, I don't know. He ain't my favorite ring announcer, that's for sure.
I got nothing against the guy personally, but I laughed when you said that because he did the ring announcements for the first Elimination Chamber, the women's, and I was just like, I don't like this guy.
I just don't like
I
the
do not
guy.
like his ring announcing. And then later when he said Javon Williams, he was done.
Everybody makes mistakes. That when he said it, it was just
I
like,
have never messed up a name.
Yes, you have. We all have. Everyone.
Alvarez, see, oh my God. Please, Alvarez, please, Brian, be doing a bit here. I've never messed up a name. This better be a fucking bit because you cannot sit there and fucking say that. These dudes all just think they're fucking infallible beings, nigh omnipotent.
Everybody makes mistakes. That when he said it, it was just
I
like,
have never messed up a name.
Yes, you have. We all have.
Just
Everyone.
did 5 minutes ago. But the point is,
Okay, thank you. Thank God. I paused it. I let my anger out, and then Brian redeemed himself. He was just working, Dave.
I mean, everyone messed up names.
Being
I wasn't
taken.
mad. I wasn't mad about messing up a name. Everyone does that. But there's something about his ring announcing that's like, it's not like it's the end of the world. It doesn't, man. And I've never disliked a ring announcer. And maybe he should be like a heel ring announcer, like Jim Cornette or something. I don't know.
What?
Man.
Was Jim Cornette ever a ring announcer? Was Jimbo a fucking ring announcer, dude? I don't think he was.
you, bye, boom.
You mean a manager? Not only you fucking up
Javon
names, you're
Evans.
fucking up titles of jobs. So Brian Alvarez and Dave react to LA Knight. Yeah, slipping at the chamber.
so LA Knight was in next, and he totally botched a
Oh,
spot.
that run up elbow drop thing where he slipped off.
He slipped off.
I felt bad.
It's not a run up, Dave. It's a fucking jumping. It's like a springboard or a jumping to the next level. It's not running up
For him on that one.
I did
You know,
too, and it was actually kind of. I mean, I'm sure part of it was Chicago, but you know, there was a time like 2 years ago when this company was so hot and the people loved everything so much that if you botched a spot, they wouldn't.
They didn't care. They didn't care.
They turned on this guy. They booed his botch spot for a while.
They didn't boo it for a while. They just kind of went, oh, and they kind of like laughed at it. They were like, what the fuck? And then they just went into other shit. They didn't boo it for a while. You're 100% lying. Okay?
Liar!
If some people booed, it was like a split second. And I don't really recall a time where they could just do anything and botch and people didn't laugh and react exactly the way they did, kind of laughing and scoffing and maybe a couple boos, but like they didn't boo it for a long while, like he's saying. And I don't remember a time in WWE history where they could just do anything and people cheer it. Like, I don't know, man. I think Brian's just completely making this part up.
Yeah.
It's a different crowd. Some mask guy comes down and he tries to climb the cage. He gets yanked off by security. They did the same angle on SmackDown. A mask guy show up. They grab the guy. They unmask him. It's just supposed to be some fan, and so they arrest him. So they did the same thing here.
Isn't it supposed to be like one of Seth Rollins' proteges?
Well, that's who it actually was.
Yeah. Okay.
But the story was, I mean, it may come out that Seth set him up, but on TV.
Yeah, there's 12 masked men now. I guess this is before Raw. But
the story was, it was just some fan.
Or maybe. Did they record this before Raw?
They didn't recognize. Same thing happens again here. Security comes down and take this guy away. And as security's distracted, another masked guy hits the ring. He ends up giving the stomp to Logan Paul. He unmasks, and in fact, it is Seth Rollins. Logan Paul gets pinned. So it's Seth and Logan Paul at WrestleMania.
Yeah, so it's all of like Seth's students. Now, the one thing I don't like about that personally is like, okay, you could have used that to then maybe get some guys over that you're calling up, and they still could. But if it's just like Seth's got 12 random students who will run in anytime, and then he just doesn't once he's a babyface fighting the heels, then it's like, I don't know, man, maybe you should have thought that one out a little bit more. All good. Not going to shit all over it. I'm actually back into Seth Rollins again now that he's away from the Vision. I'm like, hell yeah. Like the crowd went nuts for him, and in a weird way, they kind of salvaged a story out of it a little bit with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins there, and I think that's a good match to do at Mania, honestly. Brian, he's always crying about NXT, and so here's them criticizing Ethan Page and just crying because he hasn't been called up. So these guys have no clue about how the television business work. They couldn't book wrestling. Well, they do book wrestling for Tony Khan, but but they couldn't book wrestling if you paid them to do it. And Brian's still crying about the fact that Ethan Page isn't called up when they just called up all these fucking people. And how do you know Ethan Page isn't just going to pull an Obafemi and put this dude over one time and then go up? He's just going to put Miles Bourne over one last time and then go up or whatever the fuck. Again, you need people like Joe Hendry, Ethan Page, Javon Oba. The reason it took them a minute to call them up fully is because you got to ease and cross them over because you don't want to just lose all the view. Imagine a show you just turn on and the whole cast is different because Bryan Alvarez is crying about it. No, Ethan Page is like the focal point, even as North American champion of the NXT show. He's one of the main reasons people tune in to see that shit. You got to give him a little more time. So what they're doing now, which again, if Dave studied and learned, if Brian studied and fucking learned, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
They would realize that they're staggering the call-ups now. So it's staggered. It's like, we'll call up 2-3 guys, and then there's like 2-3 that you think should be up, but they're not going to come up yet. You got to wait a little bit. Then we'll call up like 2-3 more. And it's always kind of been that way. But when they started, people's minds they think it doesn't work that way because for a while there, it was always like at WrestleMania, like the Raw after Mania. It's like Enzo and Cass and then American Alpha, and they introduce new people. And then for a while there, it was like, we're doing the draft. So there's going to be a draft every year. And then that's where the call-ups are. But realistically, you can't do that when you promise CW a fucking show and they're like been pleased with it. Yeah, we're just going to change it entirely now this season just because. You can't do that, bro.
Miles and Ethan, they both want a match right now. And so Stone comes out and says, all right, but you guys got to put your gear on. And Paige says, no, this guy challenged me. Let's do it right now. So Stone says, all right, if you want to do it right now, let's get a referee out here. So Miles and Ethan wrestle for the North American title in suits. They have a tuxedo match, except you have to like pin the guy, but they get their clothes torn off. And finally, at the end, Ethan wraps a belt around his wrist. Actually, he grabs a belt. The referee takes the belt away, but he has a second belt. Why he wears two belts? A question never answered.
Because he's a fucking heel, and it's him cheating. It was a ploy. Like, how could you? This is what I mean. These guys are too dumb to even like be pro wrestling fans. I don't
He had
to be
Cuervo
like,
with him the whole time too.
I don't mean to pull a sicko and be like an entitled fucking elitist type character right now, but it's like, dude, how dumb are you? Do you just not understand this? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not explained why he wore two belts because he's a fucking heel cheating. And so he wore two belts knowing if I lose one of the belts, I'm going to use another fucking belt. Oh, they didn't explain why William Regal had brass knuckles. He just had brass knuckles.
You fucking Mark!
No shit.
But he wraps around his fist. He clobbers Miles with the buckle. Miles kicks out. Bourne then tears his pants off, gives him to the ref. As the ref is getting rid of them, Miles hits Ethan with his shoe, and he pins him to retain the North American title. For what it was very good.
Yeah. So Ethan is now doing a depression angle.
Yeah, you too, buddy. You're doing a fucking... Listen to that. Yeah, he's doing a depression angle. It was really good, Brian says. You sound so unenthused about it because you guys don't really believe this. Or if you do, it fucking hurts your souls to have to admit it. And then you jump right into a criticism, okay? Instead of just reviewing and reporting the fucking news. And then Dave, the most depressed Eeyore-sounding motherfucker you've ever heard in your life, says this.
Very good.
Yeah. So Ethan is now doing a depression angle.
Where'd he learn it from, Chief?
Yeah, he
He
should be
could study you.
depressed. He's stuck here, not on the main roster. Since
Do
he's
some fucking method acting. And he could fucking watch you watching him perform well after you said he wasn't going to perform well even if he was in NXT. Remember, Dave said that years ago. Nope, Ethan Page isn't a star. I don't see it. Tone's not a bad booker for not fucking booking him
The best
well.
guy's Tony Khan.
Because he doesn't have it. Even if he was in NXT or in main roster, he wouldn't have it. Remember, Dave said that on his message boards years ago in 21. We covered it here. And then now he's like, oh, he's doing a depression angle. Or is he just copying you?
God, he's doing that promo. He goes like, I've done all this in 2 years. And I'm thinking like, they've had you there for 2 years.
He's been in developmental for 2 years.
Who cares?
I mean, what are they doing? Waiting for him to turn 42?
Yeah. Will Hobbs. They were waiting for him to turn 32, according to you, Dave. Again, with your
Right. The reason he's there is because
47. How about that? Fuck you.
he has great matches with all these guys that could use the help. But I feel like at some point he should be called up.
Yeah,
and
he will be. At some point, he will be. He's in great shape for his age, and people aren't Hulk Hogan when they're 45 now, like they were when Hulk Hogan was 45.
rewarded for this work. Plus, he's great.
He will be rewarded for the work. And again, Ethan Page is a guy where people make, when they say, oh, you get guaranteed this amount in NXT, you're making minimum 6 figures or whatever in NXT, or whatever the number everyone was pushing around. Yeah, but some people, if you're Ethan Page, you're probably going to make more than that. Well, not more than 6 figures, but you're going to make more than like what number was floating around, 200 grand or whatever. He might make more than that already for all we know, plus merch and whatever they got worked out. Yeah, it's funny that Dave all of a sudden is like, oh, fucking Ethan Page needs to get called up. He's all disappointed about it. So the GOAT, one of the GOATs, AJ Styles. Okay, before we get out of here, 3.5 hours, one of the GOATs, AJ Styles. This was his reaction years ago, or maybe recently, actually. I don't know. I think it was probably recently, if I had to fucking guess. But either way, it's a throwback to when AJ Styles was asked about Dave Meltzer and his reporting.
What do you think about Dave Meltzer journalism?
And he just deadpans. He just deadpans. Oh, that rules. He just goes full
What do
Undertaker.
you think about Dave Meltzer journalism?
Oh, man.
What?
What? And his kid's like, what? What are you doing? Answer the question. He's just staring at everyone. Are you fucking serious, bro? He's just staring across the flat earth, the plains of the flat earth. Oh man, I love AJ Styles.
What?
That's what I think about it.
What?
Had to think about it.
Huh?
The kid doesn't get it.
What? What?
That's it.
Who, what? Yes, that is it, AJ. Absolutely. Wow. Round of applause for the kid. He answered it exactly. Who, what? Dave Meltzer journalism. Dave Meltzer journalism.
Are you sure about that?
And then AJ was like, that's precisely it, kid.
That's what I think about it.
That's what I think about it. Exactly. I'm speechless. And the kid says, who, what? Because Dave is irrelevant. That kid doesn't know who the fuck you are. You want to know who I bet he does know? I bet he's aware of at least like Chris Van Vliet or one of these guys. You know, he's for surely seen something. And if I don't know how much of a wrestling fan his kid is, but like, I'm sure he's watched an interview that his dad's done with Denise Salcedo or some shit. There are people who do this that are way more relevant and topical than fucking Dave, unless Dave just stuck to doing history and shit. And even then, who knows? It's all just revisionist history, man. So shout out Jeff Lane, shout out Vince Russo and the brand. Here is one of their weekly clips of Dave. Just, I'm assuming he's going to spurg out here. Let's take a look and a listen, and let's have a laugh.
Really say much about.
I can't imagine. Was Vince McMahon listening to this? And is that why he floored the car at 115 miles an hour?
Bro, let me tell you, I talked to Vince McMahon in an email, bro. Yo, the craziest thing that you all need to check out if you haven't, Jim Cornette reads the fucking email exchange between and reacts to the email exchange between Russo, bro. russosbrand.com, and he reacts to the email exchange between Vince Russo and Vince McMahon. There's some questions to the validity of the exchange, but if it's real, oh my
Stupid idiot.
Vince Russo is completely cooked and was sort of like begging for a job. I don't know. Shout out Jim Cornette.
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
To get away. He was trying to get away, but he couldn't get away because Meltzer was on his car radio. Who's listening to this in a freaking car?
Really.
Nobody. Yeah, definitely. Who, bro? I wouldn't listen to this in the World Champion. We wouldn't, bro. Let me tell you, we wouldn't put this on at Juggalo Championship Wrestling, bro. And Dave, you're just a goofball, and that's why even goofballs like Vince Russo, no, shut up, Vinny Roo. That's why even people who are widely considered goofballs like Vince Russo clown you. That's why I will clown you, because I'm a goofball myself, I guess. Aren't we all? Shout out Gimmick Talker, the newest and latest Meltzerism. I rate it 5 stars. In fact, I rated 5 flutes, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. Bass Dave at the start. It was kind of based at the start. It is what it is.